My husband and I started our fertility journey on Christmas Day 2015, and that's when I found out that I'd conceived naturally. So that's quite some time ago. We were both over the moon, but unfortunately, that ended in an early miscarriage. But as devastating as that was, it made us realize that we had been married for 8 years and that had been our sole pregnancy. So clearly, there was an issue that needed to be investigated. So we went to our GP after a year of tests and waiting for results. We embarked on our first round of IVF. That was in early 2017. When that failed and we didn't qualify for any further funding, we decided to go private. We had two further rounds, both of which were unsuccessful. And that's when our then consultant first mentioned using donor eggs. At that point, we weren't ready to consider that option. And so we switched clinics and did a fourth and final round using our own genetic material. That also failed. And so at that point, we thought, right, let's explore using a donor and see if that leads to better results. We had a first round, which was cancelled due to 50 non-viable eggs. And then the second round was successful. We fell pregnant, but unfortunately, that ended in miscarriage again at the 2-month mark. And so we were really crushed at this point. That was 2021. So we'd been trying for a long time and we just needed to take a break, press pause. And while we were living life, we conceived naturally. And that was late 2021. And our daughter arrived last summer. So she's almost a year old. And we've been very blessed to have her. In terms of donating our embryos, the two options available to us were to donate to research or to donate to another couple. My husband and I decided that we would like to do the latter because we wanted to help another person or another couple to grow their family, someone who had been facing struggles like we did as well, and especially if they come from a South Asian background because donor eggs and sperm are in low supply. And we were waiting for our donor to sign off on that, which she has now. So we are in the process, just waiting for more paperwork. If that hadn't worked out, if she hadn't given us her consent, then we would have donated to the clinic. It's a very sensitive subject from the point of view of a patient. It's difficult to make a decision about what to do with your embryos because a lot of time and money, blood, sweat, and tears went into creating them. One of the options is to let them go, which a lot of people end up doing because they can't face the idea of a half sibling existing out there or research being conducted on what they view as their baby, a potential baby. And in the TTC community, so the Trying to Conceive community on Instagram, where I do a lot of advocacy work, people refer to them as M babies. So they are already given an identity before they're transferred. For me, I see research as a positive thing. It enabled us to try to have a family. We did numerous rounds. They didn't work out, but at least we had the opportunity. We were very privileged to have been able to access that treatment because a lot of people can't. And we also accepted a few add-ons as well to increase our chances, and none of these would be offered if research wasn't going on in the background. Neither my husband nor I are religious, so he's atheist, I'm agnostic. So faith didn't really factor into our decision-making process. I think in terms of values, it was more the practicality. Our decision was rooted in practicality, that if we were to get pregnant, we don't have a support network. Our families don't live nearby. So it would be very difficult to raise two children and manage that ourselves and give them everything and be the best parents that we would want to be. If it didn't work out, how would we cope with another failure? We've got 6 already under our belt, and it's extremely grueling to go through treatment on an emotional level, physically, mentally, and also financially. There's a lot you need to invest in that. I don't know quite where I stand on this because on the one hand, I think it's a great idea if we extend it, whether that's by 3 days or up to 28 days, because it allows further research to be conducted and that can help patients in different ways in the future. And I have benefited from medical research as well. It's enabled us to use a donor to have a chance at growing our family. It didn't work out, but I did walk down that road. On the other hand, I think if we extend the rule, where do we draw the line? Will we find ourselves in a position later on where we're experimenting on fetuses, maybe even young babies? You know, there are a lot of ethical and moral implications to consider.